everyone. Today we have a conversation with the Roundtable of Leadership of Concordia University, Wisconsin. So, first of all, I guess introduce you to our guests.
Okay. My name is Patrick Ferryi, and I'm the president of Concordia.
My name is Wiliam Kariow. I'm the Chief Academic Officer. My title is Senior Vice President of Academics.
And I'm David Berner, and I'm the Executive Director for International Education.
Okay, so, yeah. Okay, so I guess the first question is, according to your experience, can you say what are the main and the most important qualities, and I can say maybe which experience must have a genuine leader in order to promote changes into our business in our rapidly changing world?
Well, I appreciate that question. Also, the chance to visit with you. Thank you very much. We're
Thank you.
We enjoyed a chance to visit with other students in a larger forum. And you're preparing for leadership in business, and I think that will mean you'll have many opportunities to have an impact in the lives of others. Business, I think, at its heart, can be about just making money. I mean, you know, the sort of capitalism in its kind of my most, I guess, basic way could be interpreted that way. But really, if you want to have an impact in the lives of others, business is a great opportunity to do that. To make money, sure. To provide for your family, great. To make a difference in the community, that's very important. So I think that probably the most important thing for a business leader to think about is how can I leverage my position to have a positive impact in the lives of others. That will begin, I think, by the way you model how you do business. Therefore, you learn about business ethics as a part of your program here. I think that's absolutely critical when you think about how you want to make a difference in the lives of others. You don't do that to someone else's disadvantage. You do that in a way that really helps to strengthen those relationships. So there are probably many aspects, but those are some things that kind of come to my mind.
I think what I've learned about leadership is that it's not about me in terms of business. It's about the business. It's about the institution, and decisions need to be made with that in mind rather than personal considerations, and thus one needs to be very honest with oneself about what is important and what isn't. One has to be honest with the people you work with. You have to be honest with the people you do business with.
Why did you want to study business? I mean, what is it that interests you about business?
To be honest, I know very well the problem in our country, Ukraine, with business, because there are a lot of leaders, but we really have a lack of genuine leaders. If we are talking about servant leadership, it is not really common stuff in Ukraine, because as you told, business is not about the money. But the problem is that more often we can face the problem that everyone really sees business as just earning money, right, and that's it. Right. And the problem is that earning money only for themselves, not for the whole company, for their employees. The goals are totally different from Europeans one. So as I see, I want to really a little bit change this stuff, because I want to also be like some kind of business woman, but of course, yes, the family gonna be in the first place. But to start with, you need to start from yourself just, right, to change all this. Right. That's why actually I want to study all this topic from the core, yeah, to understand why and what actually we have to change. So that's actually why I choose business study.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that's just maybe if I could just comment on that. You know, as capitalism has been introduced kind of lately in Eastern Europe and other places, that's one of the challenges that you have faced is to learn how capitalism can be used for broader good rather than just material self-interest.
Yeah, okay, so as for me, the business is the only way as for me to open your creativity as huge as possible, as high as possible. you have no limits in this sphere, and really creating something is the best thing for me. And here, no one will limit me, and while studying business, I will learn how to do it in the best way.
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah.
It's like it's pretty simple answer, but it's
No, that's true.
Yeah.
You're
No,
a
I
creative
think-
person.
I think both of you have articulated too, that you're aware of your surroundings and the environment, and I think that's another key part of leadership, is understanding the surroundings, the people around you, political situation, the economic situation, and how it impacts people, and that informs then your leadership style.
Yeah, for
as
sure.
well.
So my next question to you, which were like the most difficulties, if it's possible to say in this way, on the way you were studying your university?
The difficult challenges that we have.
Yeah. You faced on the way to
Well,
today.
I think that, you know, it's interesting. So I've been in leadership at the university now for almost 2 decades. And from the very beginning, there were those who would say, higher education in the United States, it's changing, it's changing, it's changing. It's going to be different. Be ready. It's going to be, it's going to change. And for a long time, I was able to kind of listen to that and say, well, yeah, I'm sure there will be changes, but a lot will remain the same. So, for example, in our society, going off to university is kind of a rite of passage. You know, everybody did it. They would send their kids off to school. You would go have a residential experience. And so I thought, well, there's going to continue to be a place for a place like Concordia along the way. Well, the reality is we're experiencing now, it is changing. It is changing a lot. And there are lots of questions in the U.S. about the value of higher education. This diploma costs so much money. Is it worth it? Can I learn just as much online from, you know, in my pajamas as I can by going off to live at the university? Yeah, and some very serious and important questions about higher education, which I think makes it's good for us because it causes us to refine what we're doing, but it also challenges the old models. So in some ways, Theodor, really the biggest challenges are the ones we're facing right now, because we're not sure exactly what's going to happen in higher education.
In US?
In the U.S.
But what is talking about Ukraine?
Yeah. Well,
Even worse.
yeah, you would be in a much better position probably to know that than I would. I mean, the challenges that you face are different. I mean, this is the model for your university is, I think, an extraordinary one. It's an interesting one. I still feel very strongly that the more education that you have, the more opportunities that you'll have too. So that's a good thing.
One of the things that I believe students in Ukraine and students in the US are both concerned about is the cost of higher education. Increasingly in the United States, higher education is generally rather expensive, and I believe families are finding it harder and harder to be able to afford higher education. And I am sure that is an issue in Ukraine as well. It is a responsibility of universities, I think, and families to work together to figure out how is it that we can provide this opportunity for students so that they can meet their goals.
One other thing I'm thinking along the lines of the challenges too, that Concordia historically has had a very strong liberal arts focus and background. And there are questions, again, being raised about the utility of something like that. And so one of the questions I think that folks are asking about university education is that, should it be about preparing people to get good jobs? And yes, that's certainly true, but that's not only true. And I think that one of the things that we're facing from politicians, from business leaders and others is the question, what is the value of a liberal arts experience? Well, sure, we can see why it would be useful for someone to study pharmacy or to get a business degree or what have you. But why would anybody want to study history?
Yes.
Or we're both historians. Or why would anybody want to study literature or foreign language and what have you? And I think there's still a place, I mean, I believe this very strongly, there's still a place for the idea that we want our students to be educated professionals. We don't want them just to be qualified to be a nurse. We want them to be educated nurses, to be educated business leaders. That is to say, people who can think critically, who can write with an effective prose, who can articulate a perspective, who can be a citizen involved in the broader range of things that they might learn as a part of that.
Dr. Ferry is a good example of that liberal arts education. I don't believe he has had a business class in his life. Right? He has a PhD in European history, and yet he has grown Concordia University from about 2,500 students to, well, with the two campuses, 9,000 students, an institution with an operating budget of over $120 million. And he's a historian. He has those skills to be able to bring together a group of people and to put up with our shenanigans and forge a plan of action to help the university move forward.
To be honest, really, like my opinion about history, it's not because like you're a
No.
historian. I truly believe in this. Like about history, it's a really very important aspect of study because, like, always I ask one question to myself: why people don't make like decisions according to the past? Like why they don't look into the past situations and like see the conclusions? Like why they do the same stuff again and
It doesn't completely repeat itself.
Yeah,
the
sure,
future
but,
is
like,
going to be
I
a
mean,
little bit different. But you are right.
I mean, just according to the leadership, because
Yeah.
sometimes
Yes.
like you really can't see how to react in different situations and difficulties according to the leadership. But like people don't really do this because they really have no idea what were in the past. Like
I think that I can answer this question too. As for me, yeah, there is a history, but people won't like listen to it by the time they meet up these challenges. So they have first to be mistaken in their like in their life, and only after that, only after this history in their story in their life, they will know that there is something wrong and they will change it.
unfortunately, it's our nature.
But
Probably.
it's also true that in most professions, people use the historical context in order to make decisions. Why do you do case studies in business? You're looking at situations that happened in the past so you can understand them and develop a framework to make decisions for the future. Now, the same decisions, you might change the decision that someone made in the past, but you do it from a historical context.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
you make an analysis about all the situation, and that's why actually you change your mind and make better decisions. So that's what we're talking about. Like history helps.
I think that as for me, the only personal experience is the best thing to do things right.
The reality is, even though I have a PhD in history, I haven't taught it for a few years, I don't remember all the details of everything that I've taught, and that's probably less important to what I'm doing, what we're doing now, than it is to be able to hear 2 points of view and to be able to sort through that, to be able to respond in a more critical way. In some ways, I think that the benefit of an education like students get at Concordia, there may be challenges like there are for all young people getting jobs right out of college. But where students who get a Concordia degree, I think, have an advantage over many of their peers, is at that kind of mid-career point, where they're bringing, you know, kind of a breadth of education and perspective. They've learned how to learn. They bring these other skills that they've developed, and they're able to apply those at the next level in ways that leaders are looking for those folks who are broadly educated. So that's, I think, a challenge we have, but it's also an opportunity that we have.
Yeah, let's just change a little bit
Sure.
topic.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
One question. You mentioned the word politics in your speech before, and the question appeared in my mind. How deeply politics are involved into the education in the United States? In other words, how much independence do you have?
Well, we have a fair bit of independence at a private school like ours. Now, there are government bureaucracies that oversee certain aspects of the educational enterprise. For the most part, we complain about them, but for the most part, they don't inhibit us in any way from what we want to accomplish. I think state institutions have maybe a little more challenge there, not because of maybe political ideology so much as just, again, bureaucracies and how to get tax dollars to be able to apply those to their situation. On the whole, I would say this is maybe another aspect to your question. Students, young people, I think that we like to see them engaged. And one of the real opportunities of higher education, one of the goals of higher education has always been to prepare people to become citizens, to become educated citizens. I mean, that's what, going all the way back to the ancient Greeks, right? That was the whole goal of the Athenian model, was we want to make sure that everybody's prepared to be a good citizen. So we want our students to be engaged in the public discourse and to be involved in ways that reflect that kind of undergirding Concordia Christian education, and they bring that to the conversation.
I just want to add to that on that is one of the challenges is building the global conversation so that the education is broad enough to include perspectives from different parts of the world, which is one of the challenges, I think, of any university that's located in one location. You have many students from that region who attend the university. It's difficult to create a global perspective without the interaction with people and students from other parts of the world. So that's a challenge in our area, is to build those linkages with people around the world.
One of the main goals of a university of education is to get students to think outside of an American idiom, outside the box, to think differently than they've already thought about. And to tell the truth, for Americans, that's a bit difficult. We do not speak many languages as you do in this country. It's a large enough country where it's very easy to travel a lot but stay within the United States. Many students from Wisconsin have little interest in traveling outside and understanding the larger world. But it is important for them to hear the perspective of Ukrainian students or Chinese students.
We don't want to dominate the conversation, but just to pick up on this point for a moment, that, for example, the political issues that you're facing in your country are very, very significant. But I would say, and I say this with a fair bit of embarrassment, if you polled the students at Concordia right now, very few would have even the slightest idea about what's happening. Very few.
Even we don't know why is that happening here.
Yeah, well, I
To
understand.
be honest, it's like political games, and it's really better to stay apart a little bit from all this stuff, because it really distracts a lot from the educational process.
No, I get it.
Because there are a lot of really not very happy and good stuff which is going on there, and it's really awful that people really need to be involved into all this stuff.
Yes, yeah.
And actually, I have a question
Sure.
to David Berner, as to an executive director of global engagement. This question already was today in our class, but I really want to hear again the answer. Which benefits so you can face according to this multinational university? I mean, you have a lot of still students who really want to go to your university and who study there, and here you can see a lot of nationalities who speak together, study together, and so which benefits in education in all this stuff?
Well, yeah, as we were saying earlier, I think the benefit for students from different parts of the world to come together is that students like to talk about their home, their customs, their food, their friends, their parents, how they were raised. We all like to talk about our stories, about the way things were. And students like to hear stories of others talking about their situation that may have been different. And I think what's been the most useful to begin those conversations are when students from individual countries have the opportunity to share things about their country that are very, very basic. So they have a chance to cook some food, a chance to show beautiful pictures, a chance to show family pictures and videos, and that gives all other students a window. They can open a window and they
It's
can
like
look
kind of
in.
going out of the box.
And it's right out of the box.
Yeah.
Very good.
And it really enriches the conversation because it starts to say, why did you do this? And you start to get a really good interaction.
But it also, something similar also takes place in the classroom, where a discussion takes place and it might be framed by an American question or a question informed by American students, but a student from China says, you know, we don't have that question, but this is what's important to us. And American students then have the opportunity to think through those issues, and just that recognition of different perspectives makes a big difference. Or comparing business practices in one part of the world with another.
Would either of you be interested in studying abroad, and why or why not?
Of course.
Yeah.
To be honest, like first and foremost, I guess, like going abroad, it's really facing another culture. So if even talking about the business, it's business culture, and it's also a topic of like being a servant leader, because you have to know each nationality and understand how to work with such people. So, and studying abroad, it's a really, really big opportunity and experience for me, because studying here in Ukraine is really perfect, because, for example, now we're studying in English. It's
Yes,
already
right,
a big opportunity,
right.
yeah. But when it goes to studying abroad, there are a lot of really difficulties according to this, because it's opportunity, but so far it's far opportunity.
Yeah.
But which benefits? I will have a lot of them. First of all, another culture. Second of all, it's another educational system, and I really believe in this. And I think you really have a lot of stuff to share with us. That's why it's worth it. So probably I really want to
I
go.
have an opportunity to go abroad for studies to Australia, but as for me, the most difficult step for students is like to make the step
Yeah.
Yes.
to go abroad, because you lose everything and you have to get everything to absorb it from the very beginning.
Right.
Having friends, having relations, get used to the new places spot.
New food.
Yeah, new food. Everything is unique, new climate. For example, in Ukraine, cars are driving on the left side, and in Australia on the right side. No, vice versa. On the right side. You also have to get used to this spot.
Yes, yeah.
And that is, but it takes really maybe 2-3 months, not more, and after that
Right.
But
you will stay there as a whole.
you're right, it takes courage
It
to,
does.
to take that step.
Yeah, because it's like you're totally changing your surrounding, and it scares a lot, to be honest.
Yes, yeah.
Because you change not only like the place where you gotta live, just like totally friends, food, as you said,
Right.
and everything. So
But
yeah, it's hard.
it'll
You
add
make
a
the step
dimension.
forward.
It'll add a dimension to who you are. I mean, it
Yeah.
adds. It really is certainly.
I guess
worth-
like
worth
this,
doing.
this idea, when you start thinking about this like bring you courage to make this step, because it's really step to another world, as Teodor said.
Yeah,
So yeah, I really hope that like such kind of exchange program or
Yes,
something like this will help, because in this case you will see which you really want to reach in your future. You can like compare different cultures, different countries, and in this case probably like, even like students then will like have motivation for their further steps. They will have courage to do this. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, William, Patrick, and David. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.